Hi, welcome to Bravo School of Easy to Learn English course, and today we have chosen to do the conversation between two people. So this is something that you come across every day as well. When somebody throws a question at you, you are obliged to give an answer. Now how do you answer back in good English? So the person who is going to ask you the question would know the language, but you might not be able to. So how do you return the answer without hesitation? So usually if you see, the answer is within the question. So that is the whole secret of it. So if you suss that out, that the answer is within the question, then it's very easy to follow. So hopefully you'll find it very useful as well. So let's start. Okay, the topic is conversation. Now the conversation here today is between Alan and Peter. Alan is throwing the questions at Peter. Peter is reversing the answer. So take one of the examples. We got quite a few examples to go through today, but since I haven't got the space, I'm only taking 4 questions and 4 answers at a time. The first one is, okay, Alan is asking the question to Peter, who goes to school. What is the name of your school? Now Peter is a student, Alan is a friend who's asking the question. What is the name of your school? Now how does Peter return the answer to Alan politely in good English? So if you look at the question, what is the key word, is the name of your school. Okay, the question is thrown at him with a question mark. The answer is, almost 60% of the answer is within the question. So he is going to say the name of my school, because he asked him your school. So obviously the return will be my school. So the name of my school is St. John's Primary School. So obviously Peter will know which school he is going to. You don't need to know the language for that. You would know which school he's going to. But how to put that answer back into the question that's thrown at you. So the name of my school is repeated here, the name of my school. Okay, because your school is the question, my school is the answer. So like that, the second one, how do you go to school? That's how do you travel to school. How is the question, do you go to school? I go to, because he said do you go to, so when he returns the answer, I go to, because it's single. I go to school by school bus. So here you would see, how do you go to school? So he says I go to school. So part of the answer is within the question, by school bus, because that's his mode of transport. Third question, do you like your school? The question is, do you like your school? Now the reply is, yes, I like my school. Again you can see, like your school, your is the question thrown to him, answer is me. So I like my school. Fourth one, in which class do you study? I study in class 1, section B, because all the classes are subdivisions by sections. So he is replying class 1, section B, with the answer I study in. And here again, you study. Because you will become I, because he is replying back, one person. If it is 2 people, it will become a plural. Okay. So in which class do you study? I study in class 1, section B. Okay, now the question number 5. It's still, the conversation is going on between Alan and Peter regarding the school, whatever the questions that you can throw about the school. So the 5th question that Alan throws to Peter is, who is your class teacher? So you can see the keywords are, the questions are these. Who is your class teacher? Peter says my, because he's asking who is yours, the answer will be I or my. So my teacher is Mrs. Doubtfire. So the name of the teacher is replied in the question. So you can see the part of the answer is already there. Who is your teacher? My teacher is Mrs. Doubtfire. How many students are there in your class? The keyword is how many. The question is throwing is how many students are there in your class. There are. So there are 30 students in my class. Here is your class. Yours will change to mine. So there are 30 students in my class. 7th one, what do you do in the class? What do you do in the class? Generally, what do you do? So he is a very good student. So you can see that he is saying he listens, he speaks, he reads, and he writes in the class. So when you are giving the answer, when the answer becomes the last answer is he writes. First he listens, speak, read, write. So when you pick the last answer, before that there will be always a conjunction, a junction word will be and, because it's more than 2, 3. So listen, speak, read and write in the class. 8. What are the subjects you study in the school? So he's very curious to know what subjects is Peter studying. So he says, I study mainly maths, science, language and religious studies. You can see the last word is religious studies. So the joining word will be and here, and religious studies. Okay, moving down to the 9th question that Alan has for Peter. Do you have a playground in the school? So the answer is yes, because he said, do you have a playground in the school? It involves a playground is where everybody plays, not only himself, not only Peter. So he says yes, we have a playground. The reason he is put we is because it's a common thing. It's a common ground that is being played. All the students who study there uses a playground. So he could say yes, I have a playground, but if you say I have a playground, that means it's only for him. It's not so. It's a common practice. So do we have a playground? Yes, we have a playground, which is a common answer that is given. Number 10. What are the games do you play at school? So what are the games? What does the school offer in sports wise? What are the so he says I play football and tennis. He won't say here we play, because he's asking the questions what do you play? So the answer will be I play football and tennis. So this is a very basic theme that we have taken up today to see how to build a conversation between two people. So as I have said to you before, in the 10 questions that we have thrown at Peter, the answers are within the question. So if you can read the question or listen to the person, you will see that the answer is there. Then you just add on the answer for the question. Do you have a playground? Yes, we have a playground. So the question will be playground. The answer also is playground, but how you answer. What do you study at school? Yes, the subjects. Do you how do you travel to school? How you travel is school bus. So the answer is there with the additional of what he has to reply to the question. So this is, I hope this will be useful to see how to build up a conversation or how to write a reply to the conversation. Okay, as I've said that we just had a small example of the conversation between Alan and Peter, which is a very basic conversation, which is something that is useful because it's the questions that Alan threw at Peter. It's all about school or what he does in school, the activities and etc. So I hope this conversation exercise will be very useful to you, and we are going to go much more in depth later, but this is just a beginning. Okay, so I hope that in the Bravo School of Easy to Learn English that you find this conversation exercise useful to you. Thank you.